Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you guys so much for joining. Talking Shift in 22. I was just looking, the last one was May 11th, I believe. So,
Really? Okay.
yep, so it's been a while, but you're here. What is
Y-
up, Michelle?
Hey, a lot over in this end of the world. Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot
and
going on all over the world. So,
it's really
mhm.
cool to tap into some of that you see, and you can really feel the love and the unity and,
Mhm.
oh man.
Yeah. I saw a wonderful TikTok of a woman who lives in Ottawa and takes the train every day. And she was describing her experience of being on the train. This is just after the day, just the other day when this video was taken. And she said, everybody's looking down, nobody's looking at each other. But all of a sudden, as the train got closer to this downtown core where all the truckers were, she said you could
The train
literally
every day.
feel the this energy picking up. And all of a sudden, she said people started looking up and making eye contact and smiling at each other. And she was just so struck by this that she had the intention of going. She had been ice skating. That's what it was. And she'd had the intention of just going home and eating dinner. She hadn't eaten. But instead, she got off the train and went down to just go thank a trucker and just felt compelled to do that. And then of course met these people. Everybody's taking videos and getting people's stories. And then she shared that experience, and she's just so joyful and expressing that energy. But I thought that was a good one, because it really is a physical thing. Like, you can feel that. And I tried to express that the other day when I was talking about going out and seeing it, going out to the highway and standing there and just feeling this level of energy and sovereignty and joy and love and people smiling and hope. It's
In tears,
palpable.
people
In
shedding
tears. That's why
tears
they're
of
in
joy
tears.
around the world. You've got the
Mm-hmm.
people that seeing the people on the overpass in
Mm.
tears and just touched that every single overpass has Canadians there rooting them on. You know what I mean? It's got
Oh
to be
yeah,
so freaking
everywhere.
awesome. And each
Yeah.
people, each person at each one of these overpasses showed up in their little group having no idea it was going to be this huge party with tons of people there. They might have thought a few would be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But who would have
Mm-hmm.
thought each overpass, especially in these rural
Yeah.
areas, would be like
Yeah.
so packed with people all the
That's
way
what your
there?
mom was just saying that last night, because she had thought that when we went. Now, I thought when I first heard about it and I was thinking about going, and I thought, well, we may be the only ones. But by the time it was approaching us here, it had really built up a lot. And I knew we wouldn't be, but still was totally surprised by how much for where we are. But mom was saying last night that she had expected, it might just be us going to take a look, and was blown away by how many people, everybody, all traffic in all directions, honking, waving, smiling, cheering, waving flags on houses. We were driving, we had been driving around, running some errands, and seeing all the houses that have made a point of putting a flag out and in support too. That's another visual representation. And as much as people are annoyed about the honking in Ottawa, in the city of Ottawa, the people that live there, um there's a purpose to it. It's not just honking because they're honking for everybody who's been silenced. They're honking for all the stories that haven't been heard, and have been, people that have been shamed, and all kinds of different things. Um, and it really is about everybody being heard. That's the energy of it, whether they even realize it or not. It's making up for that. So,
What I really love about it is how much they're really revealing themselves, not only with the way legacy media hasn't really talked about it too much. And then you got the stuff going on overseas, which I feel like is a direct wag the dog moment of just, nobody's even said anything's going to go over, on this border situation, the other side of the globe, right? So it's like they want something to report on, so they like create
Yeah.
this thing over here so
Yeah.
that they don't have to look at what's happening here. And then it's like, well, of course we're reporting on that because it's important, and now when you do hear things, how these people are being classified, some of the words and the hateful things that's being applied to these people, but then people down there see the truth. People are watching these streams. I've been watching many of these streams, and seeing and hearing the truckers talk and just seeing the love. And it seems like one of these get-togethers like we had, where all these loving people are together just having a blast. They're dancing, having a good time. There's like bouncy castles for the kids and, these Velcro axe throwing contests,
Yeah.
and then, are they training them to be, I don't want to say the word, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
With these little blow up, it's so funny though.
Playing hockey. Well, you know what? That's it. And they may be playing, but they're not playing.
Exactly.
So
they're having a good time, but they're killing time because they ain't going nowhere.
But they're not playing around either.
Right. Yeah.
And there is real mastery to what they're doing and holding your peace and sovereignty and saying, no, I have a right to joy and freedom and to smile unmasked at my fellow man and be friends with my neighbor, no whether he's vaccinated or not. They're fighting against the whole narrative too.
Yeah.
And
they're trying to make it like it's
down
about
and
that.
breaking down the stereotypes.
But it's all about freedom. People of every culture there dancing together, and I found it funny how they were kind of collecting, and there was a group that was singing "We Are the World" and of the older ones, and then the younger ones it looked like they were having a rave and stuff. But they're just enjoying being out, being around people, having a good time, and just enjoying themselves. And nobody's making anyone else come out there. I mean, if you're afraid, you don't have to go join them out there. You can stay where it's safe in your home if that's what you want to do. But I find like they're just kind of tipping their hand and showing how much deception's in their words over and over again because they're using some of the same talking points like 2 weeks later with no evidence, no new evidence. And some of the evidence they originally showed, I've been on Telegram, and that's been shown to be faked. You know what I mean?
Well, the hypocrisy is really amazing. To listen to Trudeau is like everything that comes out of his mouth is what he's accusing them of. He's all the behaviors and things that he's saying about these people and what their actions are doing, and it's all what he's done. Right. That's what he has done. That's his behavior.
It's amazing,
right?
Isn't
it? And it's absolutely stunning to see somebody with that level of arrogance. But I mean, this is the thing. He was groomed for this job, and I would not expect him to just resign. He'll have to be dragged out, I imagine, because it's the one thing you're supposed to do. This was his job to usher in the reset in Canada and lead the way as some big prime example. Us in Australia, we really are cousins to each other, and you can see it's how they've abused us and tried to push this whole agenda on us. So, we're supposed to be leading the way for that. That's his one job. He had one job to do, Justin, is what they're going to say. So, he's damned if he does or he doesn't now. He's completely in a corner. So if he gives into his citizens and allows for their freedom, the restoration of their freedom and God-given rights, then he's in trouble with his professor, which is Klaus, and in that whole agenda. And and if he goes through with it, well, then he's going to have to deal with the people.
Yeah,
he's not going to be able to. But so where do you go? What do you do?
Well, on the good thing is, because I just did a video, a compilation of different protests all around the world, freedom rallies, if you will, and
Mm-hmm.
many of those places have dropped all of the everything now. I mean, it's like
Many
it's
places
just
are more
showing
and
that
more.
it does work.
Mm-hmm.
People, for people who are like, why are they doing it? Things aren't going to change. It will. People just need to
Yeah.
step up. You
Well,
know.
there's a slow process too. It's really coming down to the crunch, and people are being served papers and their bonds are being called up, and all kinds of things are going on in school boards and municipal levels as well. And then this larger scale, and then, you've got the doctors, you've got these different things, evidence, real evidence coming out of what's going on. And it's just gonna continue to grow. So
Yeah.
it's just it's a matter of time.
Yeah.
But
You just got to stay patient, because things are unfolding. People are waking up every
mhm,
day, and
mhm.
it's like everything they do only, I don't know, reveals even more of their true nature and their true intentions. So it's like,
Yep,
I don't know. That's why I guess the whole catch-22 thing I was getting, because
it
it's like,
really is.
because I
Yeah.
mean, think about who we were just talking about, right? He goes off in hiding, and then the very thing he had to go off in hiding because the very thing he's been pushing wasn't working. I mean, and it's like, if that's not a catch-22, I don't know what
Yeah,
is. So,
make everybody go get it so you don't get
right.
the vid, right?
But
So
then he
you
went,
don't get the virus, and
yeah.
then but you get it anyways, and that's your excuse for, like, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's playing out, and just have to keep praying. I pray every day, and feel the energy of God, moving through this country and making his stand through the simple people, the blue collars, all the trades are coming in, and these are the salt of the earth people.
Yeah. Like you
They
mentioned
don't
Jesus
play
earlier,
complex
right? The
games, right?
carpenter.
The carpenters. Yeah. I really feel that energy. And they don't, I think, the opposing side does not yet realize this, like, literal cement wall that they are putting themselves up against. This is not your average person that you can just manipulate. And they know where their line is, they know where their sovereignty is, they know what freedom is,
Yeah.
and they know where they draw the line, and they've drawn it, and they know what they're willing to do in order to keep it.
Right.
So yeah.
And people are seeing it now. It's
Yeah.
evident. It's like, wait a minute. If you really cared about us, would you really be doing this? I don't think you would.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And th- and
obviously.
then when you
Mm-hmm.
find out all of that's based on lies, lies upon lies, and then the media is only revealing themselves as they
Yeah.
fail to show the truth about things. So,
Well, that's, this is one thing, after this is said and done, getting them to pull back these mandates and such is one thing, but, we really has to be looked at after the fact. Media should not be receiving any subsidies from the government anymore. That's not that's not a free press. That's a bought and paid for press.
absolutely.
And there's no reason why. If you can't stand on your own two legs by your work ethic, and the work that you put out, uh, it'll flush itself out, the good and the bad. And so if you can't do that for yourself, I don't see why the government should be subsidizing any form of media at all.
Right.
Right? Joe Rogan doesn't get subsidies from the government.
Right.
And he's got 11 million viewers, and they're awfully concerned about him. But he, the range of information he offers, it's all there. It says a lot. I don't need to say it for everybody, but yeah, that needs to end, and some accountability, and also these emergency measures. The ability for the government to cause an emergency themselves, then claim an emergency in order to take away people's rights. And that's got to stop. That's got to be looked at on both your country and ours.
Yeah.
I think because they'll just do that again. Well, we can get away with more if there's an emergency. Okay, well, let's create one.
Right.
That's got to go.
Yeah. Well, there's stuff still in place from 2001 when that incident happened. So
that's right. Well,
yeah.
and that's part of the reason that was done.
Right. And they're adding more and more to it as.
That's exactly why. It was part of the plan, right?
Yeah.
They created that so you would give up your
But
freedom
even all
and
that's
rights
coming
because
out.
you want to be safe.
Right.
We'll make you safe. Just let us take care of it.
Yeah.
Right. And then, now look what you have to do to go through an airport and everything. And now they want the passes. It's all part of it. That's how long they've been working on it for.
Yeah.
So that incident served a multitude of purposes, though, didn't it? Yeah.
But
that was a big card in the Illuminati deck for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I heard they've done some revisions to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
On their deck? Well, they would have had to, I imagine.
Well, they were saying stuff like that had been outdated. So, like, I guess survivalists got updated to preppers and things like that.
Right.
That's so funny.
Right. Oh, updated the lingo. Right.
Yeah. And got rid of some that kind of. They mentioned a few that were kind of like more popular back in the day, but now you don't hear anything about them. But they do have their parallels that are merged under a new name, pretty much.
It's still the same archetypal energy.
Yeah.
See, that's why they use those cards, because they understand the power of archetypes.
Yeah. And
just
it's
like
there,
the tarot. It's all there. It's the fabric of our reality.
And this whole thing, like the next step that people are talking about, where it's a hard time getting food and things like that, and a lot of it trying to get pinned on these freedom things we see right now, that although it was already happening, we've seen crops destroyed last year, cattle being destroyed on purpose. And so I think that's just another fear tactic they're trying to push. But if you think about it, it's not hard. I mean, it's one of the 7 things that, in the Bible, when you hear about different things, famine's one of them, right? So it's not like, it was over a 10% chance that they'd pick that one, you know what I mean? Or that you put it on a card and it would come into play at some point, right? Especially if you consider the whole world, because there's always famine somewhere, But yeah, it's funny to see all this play out now and the way so much of it seems to fit with what we're seeing. But I see, as far as like shortages, I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like we're going to see like what we've seen, like shortages of certain items, but I don't see like completely bare. I don't see it getting that bad, but I don't know. What do you feel like? Are you in the prepper category? I do have a couple of weeks of stuff,
We've been preparing. Yeah, we have been preparing. I mean, if you got the call, really, and if you've been paying attention, and nobody said these times were going to be easy. They are, these are going to be difficult things for this stuff to emerge and come out. And I think the more open you were into the observation of the truth of what's going on, and really the hearing, I think, the call that God has put out to us. And, for those that have chosen to deny it, stay in their bubble, stick with their identity, stay with their story that they want, and have not seen the signs, have not digged a little deeper, have not asked those deeper questions, the possibility for suffering is there. God wants us to reevaluate what's important, what we really need in our lives. Consumption is definitely something that needs to be addressed. And a willingness to release material needs can be a good exercise for many people. What do you really need? And, I think that a lot of people have been willing to give away their rights, thinking that they're staying comfortable. But things have been getting more and more uncomfortable. Um, it's something that it's going to come into question, I think, with a lot of people in some way. If it wasn't a question of like, are you going to take the jab to keep your job, or what are you willing to give up for your freedom? At what point do you say no? At what point do you wake up? Um, so I do feel very blessed, in kind of getting a feeling I got a heads up, and that by listening, and getting out of the situation that I was in a few years ago, um, I've been really taken care of. And by releasing these needs and releasing these material things and not need, it has made life easier. Um, but I mean, preparation is good, and really thinking about what it is you really need in your life to sustain. I mean, we're getting a wood burning stove, just in case the power
Right.
the
At
power
least you
went
can
out.
stay warm. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
The
idea.
power went out for a couple of days
Back in December, right? Because
back in
we were going to do a
December.
show back then, and you
Damn, it was
you
uncomfortable.
disappeared, but you didn't have power, I guess. So.
Don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
you know but we have to face the fact that those could, not to worry, but
Oh
things are
yeah,
nuts
just
right now.
and normal things happen, just like you mentioned. That was just snow, and I've had like the heat knock power out. Storms when it was really
Hmm.
hot, and so yeah.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
good to have, and that's what we have. We have a little bit on hand, but we're in a pretty good area. We have lots of farms here in Oklahoma and things like that.
Hmm.
I feel like things will kind of pull back and be local if things got, I don't know.
Well, we've switched over to a lot of, like, we go to the local butcher
Mm-hmm.
and have bought stuff in bulk and stocked the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, literally we could go 6 months.
Right.
We've got food for a good 6 months here.
Oh,
We
that's
might not,
awesome.
we might run out of milk, but we're not going to starve.
Right.
Right. So the other thing is just, considering heat,
Right.
so but we've been actually working on the house and insulating a little more and preparing for that, and yeah, just doing what we can
Yeah.
within our reasons. But um it's great that to see how things are provided for too, by not worrying, and just allowing things to happen.
Yeah.
When you listen to your intuition, Mom and I have both noticed how much easier things just fall into place to get that done, and be in a better spot. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much of this journey is um our choice, how much we suffer in this process, how much we can be, I think, in a bubble, if we're aware of what's going on and doing our inner work and not getting drawn into the drama, and you know
Oh yeah.
but teach us own. I can't speak for everybody. Just me.
And I feel like everybody on their own journey is exactly doing what they're supposed to be doing, actually, and that it's not
Yeah.
everybody's job to be. Like I like to go out if there's a tornado coming or something. I'm the kind of guy that wants to go out and see it coming. Right? Other people want to hunker down in the hallway, just in case,
Yeah.
and that's totally cool too. But I'll be
Yeah.
the guy that's like, hey, it's about to hit us. Really hunker down now. I'll be that guy. I'm okay with that because I like the excitement of it. So I'm keeping
That's
an
a
eye on
really, yeah.
everything that's going on around the world, and there's some chaotic stuff happening. But all in all, I see everything working as a catalyst
I
for
really
awakening.
respect the different roles that people have to play,
Right.
and the
Yeah.
stories that they're going to go through being completely separate and different from my own.
Yeah.
And it's really not within me to perceive how they should or should not experience their reality, or how they may or may not experience
Right.
reality. So that's something I'm really trying to pull back from.
That's why. That's really why we have flavor or taste, right? I mean, even when it
Yeah.
comes to food, we all don't like the same stuff. So
No, exactly.
our
Yeah.
fingerprints are all slightly different. I mean, we're all similar, but everything
Yeah.
about us is unique. So
That's
why
right.
wouldn't our experience be that way as
It
well?
should
You
be.
know.
Yes. Yeah. So to say we should all be doing it this way, or this is what everybody should do.
Yeah.
Yeah. How, gosh, the arrogance of that.
Right. Plus, I can't think of a
Can't do
plan
that anymore.
where
Can't.
everybody does it'll just suddenly make it work out. I can't think of a
Yeah.
plan like that.
Well, that's one of the things that's led people astray, is getting locked into that. If everybody, both sides, both, the right and the left, if everybody would just stop doing this, or if everybody would just start doing that,
right, and that's
then we
never
wouldn't
gonna
have
happen.
a problem, right? And it's like, you know what? Just you just got to do you. Just worry about what you need to stop or start doing, and that's the hardest part.
Mm-hmm. It really is. Learning to let go. Love them and let them be, like I did in that song. Because if it's bringing down your vibes, if you're feeling triggered and angry because someone won't listen to you, then you've already gone too far. You know what I mean? It's like, you gotta stay in love. Nobody's gonna listen to you when you're angry and stuff anyway. So,
no. Yeah.
So let's talk about. We were actually talking last time about psychic abilities coming online, and your mom had a dream. Where she was. Can we talk about that dream?
Yeah, really the telepathy picking up. Well, there was a lot going on in this dream. I think it was a good story, brought in some good aspects. But okay, see where I start. So she's explaining to me that she had this dream. And she went through this whole scenario, and then she woke up a bit and wanted so much to go back into the dream and, go through it again. And she actually went back into sleep and went back into the dream and went through the dream again, and was being given this analysis on the meaning of this dream. So, which I think is fantastic. It's something that I've been experiencing for a while now. It's been growing and increasing in different levels. This inception interpretation of dream within dream through the higher self. Mm-hmm. So it was her first time experiencing this, which was great. So we were at our house, and she said that I had come home. I had been away for a while, and the dogs were really excited to see me. My dog Zoe in particular was really happy and excited to see me. She made plans on the phone to go visit somebody, actually my grandmother, and not her mother, but my father's mother. And she made plans to go there for a certain time. And then through the dream, just kind of forgot about that, was doing different stuff. Realized how much time had gone by and was getting ready to go. And I was helping her sort of collect her things, get organized to leave. And then she had this character who is like an amalgamation of, her ex-husband and another, past spouse, right? And they were trying to be, saying they weren't feeling well, like she shouldn't go because they weren't feeling good. I don't feel good, and trying to use that manipulation for a reason that she shouldn't go out. And she basically just kind of didn't let it work on her, didn't let it manipulate her. And she was like, you'll be fine. Bye. Right. And walked out the door. So she said when we stepped out the door, Zoe was really sad that we were leaving again. And all of a sudden she was hit overwhelmingly, literally feeling how Zoe feels. She's every part of my body was feeling this, and the overwhelming sadness of it. And in the dream, she's like, I can feel how sad Zoe is. And I said to her in the dream, oh, Mom, I know she's sad. She's my dog. I know how she feels. And Mom said, no, you don't understand. I literally feel Zoe inside. I can feel it. And so she explained to me what this felt like. I thought was really interesting because it's from a dog's perspective that doesn't have the perception of time that we do and doesn't have the thought processes that we have, and how a dog experiences that differently than we do. And, you know, it simply was for Zoe, from her perspective, there was no, oh, mom's going to be back soon. You know, she always comes back. You know, it was just the simple fact that in that moment of now, that she was alone, that she was just feeling so alone. You know, there was no contemplation of the past or the future. It just simply was that in that now moment, and how different an experience really that is from how we perceive our situations. You know, we might be feeling down about something, and we can kind of say to ourselves, oh, well, you know, don't worry, because we worked out that, you know, this solved itself this way better before, or you know, they'll be back soon, they're only ever gone for an hour, whatever it is. You can't, none of that existed. So I thought that was really fascinating. And then so through the dream, she continued, she kind of encountered a few other scenarios of people using different tactics to get their way, like over her boundaries, right? So the first was the example of the, you know, the ex-spouse being, you know, I want you to stay home because I don't feel good, like playing sick because they're trying to get their way, right? So they're pushing that manipulation with, you know, with their intention. That's their intention, is to manipulate you by their behavior. And so, and the next scenario was, it was funny, it was with me. We go to the car, and the driver's seat, she goes to, because it's her car, she goes to get in the driver's seat, but the seat's being like completely moved. Imagine this is a mild annoyance of me not resetting the seat settings in the car after I've driven it. But anyways, so I had, the seat had been moved, and it actually had been moved like to the other side of the, you know how things are weird in dreams, but to the other side of the passenger seat, like in beside the front passenger seat and the door, like it's all the way over there, right? And, you know, mom plainly, you know, said, well, to me, well, I'd like you to put the seat back. And I guess I was being, you know, some kind of like, you know, oh, well, it doesn't matter, it's not such a big deal, or something like that, right? And without words, this is really where she was communicating telepathically, like she didn't even speak it. It was just a simple, pure intention of like, no, this is what I want done. This is the way it will be. Right? No confrontation, no argument, no, and and I was just like, okay, fine, whatever. And I did it. Now, I went to open the passenger side door, and then all of a sudden there's this van full of people that I couldn't open the door because this van is blocking the way. And so I go, oh, mom, you know, I can't do it, there's a van in the way. And again, she looks at these people, and they're all being like, meh, you know, they're making faces, they're being, you know, boisterous, angry, like whatever kind of thing. And she, again, no argument, she just was like, you are going to move your vehicle, right? And even though they were like meh about it, they moved the vehicle. So the next thing was interesting. So we got the seat over, but putting the seat back into the car, into the driver's seat, but it was on the ground. Like at first it was right on the hard ground. And when she got in, she was like, oh, at first, and she was moving and trying to adjust the seat, you know, and get it to be comfortable. It was really hard at first, but the more she was adjusting and moving, actually, the more cushion there became on the seat, and it became more comfortable. So I think that's pretty much where it finishes off. But it was interesting for her to go back into the dream and them to kind of go through an analysis with her on these. Oh, there was one other part. So we do leave, we get in the car and we drive off to go to where we're supposed to be having dinner at my grandmother's house. And she's driving there and she's calculating the quickest way to get there to our destination. And she was like told in her mind, well, stay to the right, and that like takes you to the highway. If you go left, you're going to be all these like country detour roads, and it's going to take a lot longer. Stay to the right. So which I like that as well. It's the right side of the brain, the creative side, as opposed to this left side, that really carries a lot of the programming, like of how we get our way. It really can carry a lot of the programs, I think, that we use to sort of carry out our intentions, that our ego identity wants. So it's to stay to the right side in this process, and it's a speedier journey. So a lot of interesting aspects to that. But again, another evidence with this increased telepathy that I know I've been experiencing, Mom was experiencing, and she was really trying to express to me how profound that feeling was of, like I really feel her within me, what she's feeling. Mm-hmm. So
that's wild.
yeah.
So that's moving in the direction of a more empathetic world, though, too. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and it's also great. It was really trial run, practice run for this new way to drive the car. Right, is how we get to our destination, how we drive, and not being distracted by other people's tactics that take away from our sovereignty and our purpose. And it was really her practicing the experience of dealing with confrontation, right?
Right.
And knowing the difference. I think it really kicks in with this, how you can really read people's energy when we get past the story and the body language and the behaviors and kind of see the puppetry for what it is. Then you really get the sense of the truth of the intention behind the play, the demonstration, whether it's the story, like playing the victim, I'm sick, I'm sick, I need you to do this for me because I'm sick, right? I'm the victim. Or whether it's blustering anger, or it just a lot of things that we do.
Oh yeah.
Body language and stuff to show that it's
That's the single most thing I've done since the Law of One, that I've learned to see those things as like bonus rounds instead of like, why does this have to be happening to me today? Really ask why, but not in that tone of, like sort of like, God, why did you let this happen to me? Or, how many ways do we frame it that kind of puts us in the victim mentality instead of like, wonder what this is about. It's a bonus round. I'm supposed to learn something with this out of the normal thing that's happening right now.
Well, you really can observe.
Whatever it is, what
I
mean?
The really great practice, I think, is just to, if something happens, like you say, or whatever it is, confrontation, just by not leaping, just by just observing, it really is a different state of consciousness, really feeling into your sovereignty. You get really comfortable with your own truth. And then you don't have so much noise going on, which is telling you to develop stories so quickly. You're not so quick to build the story on the emotion, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And you can just observe and you can see it. It's a lot less complex because you don't have to break down all the your reasons that you built up, for getting triggered, for being angry, for why you should say, why you should display behavior outside of how you really want to, right?
That light behind you is turning on and off, and you said something about getting triggered, and it flashed. It triggered right.
Which light?
Over by the window.
Oh, over. Over there?
Yeah, it came on and went off, and then it came on for
Oh
a
yeah,
while.
that one does that sometimes. It's weird.
It's funny though, it flashed right when you said and get triggered like somebody hit the switch.
It does that. That's kind of a light I actually practice with
Yeah,
by just with intention because
right.
it'll dim and go bright
Yeah,
and it'll sometimes be dim and I'll just like, okay, I'll just like
right,
do this.
right,
And it'll literally go like that. I'm like, it works sometimes, so sometimes it does, sometimes it
right.
doesn't, but I do
It's good
play with that
practice
one a
though,
little
yeah.
bit over there. Mm-hmm.
That's wild. So my another thing, like a good example, my daughter got stuck in the snow the other day, and I went over and tried to help her get out. I'm like, we're gonna have to, get another vehicle and pull it out or something, and so and she's really awake, she's an old soul, and it was Gabby, the one I had on the video, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like telling her as I was leaving, I was like, the bigger question is, why did this happen? What are you supposed to learn out of this, or whatever? And she's like, yeah, I know. So anyway, she goes and meditates on it and says, I'll go check it out after work. She goes out there, and all of these different people that didn't know each other are all start coming out of their apartments to help her get out of the snow that she's stuck in. Some guy had his truck with a rope. These other people got on the fender, and it was just this community thing and this beautiful thing. She's like, I'm sitting in my car and I'm looking at all these people that I don't even know that came out. This big community of people that just wanted to help me get out of the snow. It's like freezing. So, but yeah, it turned out to be this beautiful moment for her. And she said, the whole time I didn't even get upset that it even happened. I was in great spirits. And it's different when you're not in that victim mentality. Your outlook about
Mm-hmm.
stuff is just completely different.
But that's that energy too, I think. That's
Yeah.
really coming out for everybody to experience right now.
Yeah.
And that people are talking about what they're experiencing, going into the capital and stuff, and it's like they're giving, food to anybody homeless, the gloves. What do you need?
Yeah.
People taking in strangers into their homes so they have somewhere to sleep, and just like all that. It's like, what can I do to help you? We've forgotten it. The government's really tricked us, by doing this. He's taken away the government's taken away our opportunity to actually care for each other,
Mm-hmm.
like on a community level,
Right.
by continually like, no, we'll do that. We'll take care of this. We'll manage this. We'll manage that. There's less community
But
and
I think a
people
lot of
coming
that.
out.
I think a lot of that has to do with censorship as well. Because if you
Mm,
can control everything online, then the other thing is just keep people from talking to
yeah.
each other. Make them scared to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Put something over their face. That's
Yeah.
another wall of separation to people, strangers out in
Yeah.
public.
Locking them down in their house,
It's
putting masks on their faces.
yeah.
So this is that rebound from the energy, that sovereignty that's crying out, say no, like, and
Everybody's
so
got
people
cabin
are looking
fever in
for
there.
that,
They're
looking
like,
for that to come out to help,
heck yeah, yeah,
to feel community again. So yeah, I'm sure that's why that happened, so she could experience that too.
yeah. People
You
just
know,
bursting forth with love and
we
compassion.
can take care of each other. We don't need all this government.
Well, look at how they're handling Parliament Square. You see them clearing off the snow because they're not doing that. They were even patrolling like the monuments and stuff, just so bad
Hmm.
actors don't come in and try to make them look bad. They had
They're
shifts.
cleaning up the garbage, and then the police are like now coming in and stopping them
The light likes
from
that.
cleaning up the garbage because they don't want them to look good.
Yeah, your light started flashing and cheering with
Is it?
us.
So I'm getting rowdy.
That's that energy, that
As
heart
my
energy.
as my energy goes out, it'll start
Yeah.
going. Wah! It's inside a salt lamp too, which is even funnier, right?
Oh wow,
It's a light inside a salt lamp. So yeah.
that's very cool.
Hmm.
So anyway, it's exciting times right now. I see a lot happening, and we've been talking about it for a while, and it's so weird that it's so
Hmm.
surreal, isn't it? When you see it, it's like, man, it's
It
really
is.
happening.
Well, thank you that it's surreal on the other side of the coin, because
Yeah.
over the last 2 years, it's literally been like a dystopian nightmare surreal.
Right. Yeah.
Like being the only one going into, the stores all this time, the ones that I could get away with it. Only a couple that I couldn't. I really think it's the way you carry your energy.
Yeah.
You know, I prep for it. I go in a balloon, like, and I just go. And I get nothing but smiles. I've like hardly ever had a problem. Initially, like early on, people were nuts, but yeah, anyways, it's getting better. I don't know where I was going with that. The joys of live, eh?
Exactly.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Which are like, should we just record or should we just go on? Like, let's just do it.
Hey, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
There might be some embarrassing things that I have to look back on later, but oh well.
Well, it was funny last week when we were doing the recording, and that's the problem with knowing you're recording. I'll stop because I'm like, okay, well, we could just do over.
Right.
It's easy for me to have a squirrel moment, but I think we both had a couple squirrel moments while we were recording last week. So there was a couple cuts in the video.
I said, but I have the pause button, so
yeah,
I'm able to catch it right away. Like, oh man, I completely lost my train of thought.
And then edit that back in. Where were we?
That's nice to have, because you have to just sort of move on if you're live. You're like, well,
yeah. Well, it was pretty funny. We initially started our first recording of it, and you're doing your little intro, and then
I can't even remember.
And what did you say? Wrong. Like, so what have you been up to? And I just went.
You're like, you're gonna have to narrow those questions down a little bit, man. That's just way
too broad. Too broad.
Oh
I'm like, whoa, that's a big open space.
Yeah. But it is like that,
Yeah, grab a topic. I'm like,
it is. It's getting harder because then you have to consider all the different perspectives about stuff too. So it's like, I don't know. It depends on who you ask. It's I don't know. It's amazing what we see happening right now, but everybody doesn't see it, and I can see a lot of people are struggling still. But I just feel like a cosmic cheerleader, right? Just get the word out. Like, look, stuff's happening. Even a lot of the things I showed you last week have had results. They've dropped a lot of the rules and things like that. So they're definitely having an effect. And that adds pressure on your home country, Canada, because when you just mentioned that. They were in Parliament talking about, well, look at all these other countries that's dropped it. We should drop it.
That's right,
too.
yeah.
So
bring it up, yeah. And the news is coming out. The science, the real science, not the bought and paid for manufactured narrative science.
Right.
And the real consequences of what these medical regimes have done, right?
Yeah.
That's starting to come to bear, no matter how much they've hidden. And that's going to be, one of the hard things that's going to get harder to hide is the destruction of the medical practice.
Oh, yeah.
The repercussions of that on people's health. It's just starting to come out now. They're talking about HIV and, a resurgence of it. Well, it was in the vaccine, if anybody bothered to look it up.
Right.
So, yeah, there's going to be resurgence of it. So, yeah.
That's
unfortunately.
Well, I've been busy doing, trying to prepare for our convoy, Freedom Convoy, that's supposed to happen next month, getting artwork ready for it. And to, some of the problems they've had with the finances, I think if it wasn't so centralized, like if people like sponsored a trucker, so I've actually reached out to Pam and Daryl, the truckers that I know, and said, man, it'd be great if you guys are going up there, we'll get people to support you. And then, just and other truckers maybe that might be listeners.
That's a good idea. Sponsor a trucker. Well, we've got
like
adopt a trucker.
It won't be right. Exactly. That's a similar thing. So it's almost like, it's when it goes to one place like that, you can't like $8 million, $9 million, whatever they raise. That's just, too much of an attention getter, right? But if they were just supporting, like I could just give their information. It doesn't even have to go through me. It can go directly to the whatever truckers we're sponsoring, and we're just giving out their information, and then maybe they can send us videos or whatever and report back on what's happening from their point of view and stuff. So it's like we're working together, but not so centralized to where it's getting people's attention. And so and I noticed that they're learning from they learned from the mistake that happened last January with a lot of stuff up there. So we're learning.
Well, that's it.
We're growing as a people. We the people are growing.
I really wonder if it wouldn't be better for you guys to, not do what we're doing with the capital. And these are just my thoughts.
Right.
But to go down to your border where there's like gaping wounds, holes that are a cause of a major problem where the government is not doing its job.
Yeah.
And, the trafficking that's going on, the drugs, the cartels, that all of that. I think it would be great. You've got all those trucks, like just build a wall yourself with trucks, or something. I think I've seen a few posts on people, talking about that and doing that. And it would have to draw attention to this issue. It's horrendous what you've got going on at your border. It really is. So yeah, that would be a good point. Consider all the malarkey that they caused with the January 6th. I'd hate to have them have an excuse for any of that again. Actually go address the problem that they are not dealing with.
Yeah.
So it would kind of kill two birds with one stone. Start protecting some of these children and, women and all the different situations, people that live there locally. Like your border's getting flooded.
And it's like you're up in the penthouse and you're like, look, guys, what's going on down in the lobby down there? We got a leak.
There's it's a bad leak, man. It's scary. That's, and they're, anyways, we won't get too much far into it.
Yeah.
But I would suggest that. And, there's a lot of U.S. truckers right now, actually, up at our border, the Canadian borders. I think hitting the borders is a good idea.
Yeah.
They've been building walls around your White House, and it's dead there. There's nobody there anyways. The city's like empty.
Yeah.
I saw a guy do a video at night, and he was just like walking around, and you could literally hear his footsteps echoing on the pavement right downtown. And he's like, there's a restaurant we used to go to over there. It's shut down. That's shut down. Like it's a ghost town.
Yeah, I've seen that. So, that's crazy.
Yeah, so why bother? You wouldn't. There's nobody there anyways.
Capitol Hill. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, they could really swarm. Yeah. The whole,
well, you know what? Swarm. I mean, that's what we've been doing here. It's not just Ottawa. Like it's Toronto. It's every major city. Yeah. It's all kinds of border accesses, bridges. So it's not just the one place. And I think that's what.
I think hitting up the individual capitals of different states is good, but I think the momentum that the convoy going across the whole country, just there was so much momentum just built up when the Canadian truckers were headed there, you know what I mean? And all the people going to the overpasses and stuff. So I think that was a huge part of it too. So I think that's, and they're even talking about swinging down and coming up through Texas and stuff, which they might come through here if they do that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Well, I've heard them talk too, like, that they'll keep going and keep fighting till, not just them, not just the mandates, it's the whole world, It really is. This is for the whole world. I really do understand that there are people praying and cheering for them and that they are the hope for not just this country, but for people all over the world. They really do get that.
Yeah. Really and it was sort of shown to me that way, like, the way we've all been lumped together, that's actually worked against them because now they've mixed the freedom in with the whole world, right? And it's like, they shouldn't have lumped us together because there's too many free people that's, at least have a perception of being free, right, to a certain extent. Yeah. And now they're trying to take that away, and now they're sort of, waking up to the whole thing. So
I think it could really set new sets of like new standards for freedom throughout the entire world.
It's like an evolution of human consciousness, though. That's really what the whole Ascension thing is. It's like what's worked in the past is no longer working anymore. And we want to get our freedoms back, and like Chris Sky was saying, hold those people accountable for everything they've done.
Accountable.
That's like the step that we need to go beyond, just so it doesn't happen again. And that's
and two steps after that too. Yeah, yeah. Like it's not something like they dropped the mandates and
right.
Yeah, that's great. Now I can just go back and pretend everything's normal. No, you gotta like route it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see why you guys did what you did and get to the bottom
Yeah.
of all that. So, and that's going to
Yeah, and like I said
years.
before, these emergency measures and them having the ability to cause an emergency in order to enact these measures and take away people's freedoms, that really needs to go. And subsidizing the media, that really needs to go.
Yeah.
No more taxpayer money to the media. Whatever. No. That's got to stop. Yeah. There's literally a clip, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but of Justin Trudeau making a joke and bragging about why he never gets bad press or why he's never held to account for things. And it's because, well, if you paid $600 million to the CBC, you'd get good press too, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that.
And he's actually joking smug about it. It's like, yeah, that's the truth. Well, that's the truth, ain't it?
Man, so many of these people will just outright,
oh, this is so
brag
blatant
about it,
Well, yeah, that's their normal.
Yeah.
That's their just due.
So it's happening, you guys. It's keep your head up, keep the prayers going, keep those positive intentions going. All that's positive and powerful, and that's one of the main reasons I connect in with all this, because I feel like as this global grid of light workers, we're energetically connecting all these things, and it's like causing a snowball effect, if you will.
It really is. And you know what? We're talking about how powerful that feeling is, this energy that's being given off by this movement. It's just being magnified. And I do think I'm making a daily practice myself of really drawing in that energy within myself and praying on it and praying for the protection of all these people and really feeling the knowing and the truth within myself, within the bones of my being, that, this is God working through, his story, and to just.
Well, you guys are going to be needing a new prime minister soon. You thinking about running? I'm just playing, can you? Or Gypsy JJ.
My background.
Michelle for president.
I don't want anybody in my dirty closet. No.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, I wish, but I don't. Unfortunately, I don't have the work history or whatever. But who knows? We need different types of leaders.
Yeah.
We've all developed and changed so much, and yeah. Anyways. Thanks, Shane.
Thanks. Yeah, we'll be back.
I'll just keep talking to you for now. Zoe wants to say hi. Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
That's
Zoe.
our cue. Zoe.
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 Go say hi, Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
There she is.
Aw.
My girl.
She's so cute. All right, that just about wraps up, you guys. Lots of love, light, and unity. We'll see you soon.
Yeah,
Peace.
probably do one next week, eh?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Later,
we'll be
guys.
back.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.